Hi, this is Dan Sharp, the host of The Smoke Pit. We wanted to let you know that the following episode was recorded live at our local VFW, and please bear with any technical difficulties we may have had. So, yeah, I think we were fighting the banana campaigns back in 1899 when the VFW was formed.
Sure.
And so basically they wanted to get together and form a society of veterans who have fought overseas, and here we are today. They were kind enough to let us use their facility. I say kind enough, but I actually paid for it, so yeah. I don't know how nice that was.
$1 silver.
They're nice enough to take my money.
That's right.
And so this is kind of a dry run for the event that we have coming up in Burbis.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing a live podcast with Medal of Honor recipient Clint Romsha
Right.
At the MGM Grand Casino, April 18th. That's like, what, 2 weeks from now? Two and a half weeks. Mm-hmm. So the old saying, victory loves preparation, so we wanted to record a little bit of a live event, see how that went, so that way my sound monkey here can figure out how to adjust the knobs,
right,
work behind the controls. For those of you listening, my name's Dan Sharp. I'm the host, Iraq, Afghan veteran, Marine Corps Infantry. My co-host, Mike Sensi, Navy active duty, just one handsome man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. There's like 12 people in the room, so his anxiety is through the roof.
I can't take this right now. It's a lot.
He's usually not used to being more than around 4 people at a time, so this is like triple capacity.
I don't like it.
Anxiety over 9,000. And our executive producer, Mike Stedman, Afghan vet, Army engineer.
Also a handsome guy.
Also a very handsome guy.
For sure.
So, we're going to kick the show off here with a few topics that I have here in the notes because I'm a consummate professional.
Okay.
This is episode 22?
24.
What?
Mm-hmm.
24. Was I drunk for the other episodes?
Yes, you were. Yeah, you were.
Was I around for those?
Yeah.
Did you guys record them without me?
No, it went really well.
Did you find somebody more charming to be the host?
We
Am
did.
I gonna get fired for my own thing?
It was Stedman, actually.
Oh, God damn it!
I know.
You fucking snake. So welcome to the Smoke Pit.
Oh, was that my A?
We
didn't do a joke.
It was an opening segment. Would you like to try that again?
Fucking A.
No. We're gonna recock. Try it again.
Then open with a
Good
joke.
to go.
Why would? Okay, go ahead.
Welcome to the Smoke Pit.
A.
There it is.
I hate that. There was no joke.
So if you notice, the only person up here didn't get called handsome is myself. So I'll pause for crowd reaction.
Oh, okay.
But I found that
just as you planned it.
Exactly. But I found that the time that I get complimented the most is when I go through drive-thrus. Apparently the young plump women who work at the Taco Bell drive-thru, they love my eyes, and I get a lot of compliments from that. So whenever I'm feeling fucking down on myself,
Sure.
Mike's like, "Oh, I'm so fat with this fucking tight hard teen body over there."
Well,
I'm going to Taco Bell. I need an esteem boost.
It takes work, yeah.
Whenever I need a fucking pick me up, that's why I go to the drive-thru.
For sure. Actually, a Taco Bell employee the other day called me out for not having my patches on my uniform.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was fucking embarrassing. Because I got 4 burritos to myself, which was embarrassing enough. And then he's like, "Are you missing your patches?" I was like, "You work at fucking Taco Bell." I didn't like it.
Was he prior military?
No, he was like 18.
Because I was about to say, being a Marine, especially like in my circumstance, infantry, you're only really qualified to work at Taco Bell when you get out.
That's true. Yeah.
No, not even kidding. Afterwards, I was like, look, I don't want to be a cop. I don't want to be a security guard. Like, I've done enough of that. What are my options? They looked through all my training, all my awards, all my citations, all the amazing things that I've done, all the men that I've led in combat, all the situations I've diffused, the civilians that I've helped, and they said, you can be a janitor or a crossing guard.
Yeah. You can be a sergeant of the crossing guard.
Yeah. I have all the old ladies, that part-time crossing guard at attention,
That's right. Get it together, Gladys.
Gladys is like, "It's hot." I'm like, "I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit.
It was hot in Iraq." Y'all are very kind to laugh at our bad jokes.
Yeah. We could do this more often.
Yeah, we definitely could. But that being said, though, I really feel like if I could just get abs by laughing at my own jokes.
Sure. No, you'd be ripped as fuck.
I'd be fucking ripped as fuck. Because I listen
good.
to each episode like 6 times before we post it, just to make sure, whatever he fucked up or,
Right.
Whatever we can fix. And each time I laugh at myself, like every time. This is the 6th time I've heard myself tell this joke that I wrote specifically for the show, and I'm still laughing.
So humble.
Get out of here, I'm beardless and ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of a Britney moment. 2007 Britney, if anyone remembers.
Oh, check, yeah. If she survived that, you can survive anything.
Oh, Jesus, I hope.
Yeah.
Man, does anybody else feel like just being in the military just makes you permanently jet lagged? Is that just me?
Are we getting crowd responses?
Yeah, that's we're rolling into that.
Oh,
section.
gotcha.
No, but seriously, I feel like just being permanently jet lagged is my new state of life.
Okay. Well, you look good for a jet lag man.
No, thank you.
With no beard, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna roll into a little segment where we take questions from the audience, and we'll start from my left and go to the right, and we'll
Does everybody have their questions ready?
And if we do not want to answer the question, we have to finish whatever drink we have in front of us.
What? The whole fucking beer?
The whole beer.
That's okay.
Yeah, and which more than 2 will kill me.
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying.
gotta get
Why are
some
you making
fucking
these
honesty.
rules?
All right, so what you got?
What are you drinking right now?
A Coors Light.
Thank you.
Dude is the worst writer ever.
What you got, brother?
How's that tank top business going?
Honestly, awful. I've gotten more orders than I was prepared to deal with. And now I'm having people message me like, "Yeah, I ordered this tank top like 47 seconds ago, and it's not here."
Success.
Yeah, he's too successful. Yeah. And you keep trying them all on, which is weird.
Yeah, like I had to custom order a double XL for myself,
Yeah.
and that's the only one that fits me. But still managed to sneak into the small.
Looks good. Looks
So like,
good.
why
yeah.
is this so stretched out?
Yeah.
I'm like, be grateful. All right.
That's right.
Has my musk on it,
Oof.
sir.
Civilian question. Have you had more sexual partners overseas or domestically?
Is this for me or Dan?
Domestically, by far.
Yeah, for sure.
I,
Yeah.
Not to sound too arrogant, but I literally slept in like a dirt hole in my deployments.
What?
and
That was you called her dirt hole? Jeez.
I mean, I would sleep inside of her.
Right, well.
She's a very nice lady.
I'm very lazy then.
Okay, so I'd like case in point here.
Yeah,
Like,
what do you
I
got?
would not put that past you to be
Sure.
like, and then just like fall asleep on top.
Well, when you have a diet of nothing but whiskey and self-deprecation, you get tired easily.
Yes, but to answer your question, no, it's definitely been domestic. What about you?
No, domestic for sure. Yeah.
And glad you asked this because
What?
He put the mic in front of your face.
have you slept with more people overseas or in the U.S.?
Neutral.
He has slept with 10 people total.
all nice guys? Yeah.
If you listen, I think it was like episode, like 3?
Yeah, like 3 or 4.
Yeah, episode 3 or 4. Our executive producer had a 5-way in Korea,
Yeah, allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah. Jury's still out. Yeah.
My vote on that is that it was 2 men and 3 chickens. So it still counts, you know?
It does.
Yeah, so I guess that would be the answer to that question for you, huh, bud?
Sums it up, yeah.
All right.
Solid contribution as usual.
Madam.
What is your least favorite mode of transportation in the military?
Yeah, mother.
Yeah, mother.
No, I'm sure her mother's a very nice lady.
That's right. Yeah, she is a saint. Yeah, she was very nice to drive me that day. I would probably say I didn't like the MRAPs because I could never get super comfortable, but that was just me.
When we all first met and started talking to each other, EP Mike, executive producer, so we avoid confusion because I got M&M, both very
That's right,
chocolate
yeah.
delicious.
And good white rappers, ironically. Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about his time in Afghanistan to co-host Mike, and he was like, "Yeah, we're in this thing called an MRAP.
Jesus
Do
Christ.
you know what an MRAP is?"
So this motherfucker, right? So I've been in an MRAP before, and for like one of the first times I'm meeting Stedman, he's like talking about his time in MRAP, and he like literally sits me down. He's like, "Do you know what an MRAP is?" Like the most fucking bullshit thing I've ever heard in my life. I was like, "Yeah, I've been blown up in one." He's like, "Oh, well, I thought you were just in the Navy." I'm like, "Cool, good to meet you, man." This has been fun.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
for sure.
I think my least favorite vehicle to ride in was probably the 2 mattresses that they duct taped me in between and threw me off the 3rd balcony on.
Right. But what a ride, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short and fast.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
Motto in life, right?
Moving on.
They got theirs. I didn't get mine.
That's right.
No, but in all seriousness, I probably have to say that the least favorite transport that I ever had was like a high back Humvee.
Yeah.
We went to do like a fuel resupply. It was like 2005 Syrian border, and I carried the machine gun, so they put me in the back of the Humvee. And they didn't put a lid on this 55-gallon drum of gas, and they hit every fucking pothole. So by the end of it, I was just soaked from Kevlar to fucking boot bands and
Right.
JP8.
Nice.
It was a very pungent odor.
I was about to say, do you recall the smell fondly?
It's actually whenever I walk into your apartment after a girl leaves, it kind of reminds me of.
It smells like death usually.
Yeah, that's probably my least favorite because like if somebody would have farted on some flammable material, I just would have been a fucking an afterthought, you know.
What a way to go.
What a way to go. EP Mike.
I would say flying. Be honest with you, being in a C-130, I fucking hate it.
Oh yeah, you know, because it's like fucking loud. Anytime you get off any bird, you know, helo, fixed wing, rotary, whatever, most of the times I forget my fucking earplugs. And so you get on the ground and your lieutenant's like, "Yeah, fucking move, you know, take first squad over there, second squad set up a," and I'm just like, "What, dude? Like, I can't fucking hear shit." Like, I wasn't even paying attention to the brief. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
clearly lost.
Your hand gestures mean nothing to me.
Absolutely
Yeah.
nothing, sir. You're facing the wrong way. The enemy is that way. Next question.
If y'all had to pick a different rate or MOS, what would you pick?
If we had to pick a different rate or MOS, what would it be? Somebody clearly doesn't follow my story.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because I know your answer 100 times over.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Intel, yeah.
Yeah, I think I probably would have been counter intel.
Yeah, or counter intel.
Yeah, intel, counter intel. I'm not quite sure what the difference is, depending on what the bonus was.
I would have been a cook.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. Probably corpsman.
Yeah, I probably have to say corpsman too.
Just because I get called a
Yeah.
corpsman every fucking day anyway. So
No, but like being a corpsman would be fucking awesome, especially if you're a green side, because you still get like the clout, you still get to do the cool shit,
sure,
but then you don't have to like do half the bullshit.
that's true.
And I've always been like 20 pounds heavier than the average Marine, so I feel like, and then plus I have like thick, luxurious hair. I feel like I was built to be a doc. You know?
Right. You were. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Like, don't call me until one of the Marines fucks up and hurts himself. Yeah, no joke. We had this dude. He was from West Virginia. He's like 6'3". He's like the type of motherfucker that like goes down yonder to the fishing hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's got a big gap tooth and
Yeah.
a fucking log on the other side. And
The
the
gap of
movie
his tooth.
The Hunted with Benicio del Toro had just coming out, and the Tom Brown tracker fucking knife, which is basically just like a block of fucking steel that somebody sharpened and put a handle on. And so he was one of our senior guys, and so he comes up. Weird fucking kid. Weird fucking kid. He was the one who burnt down the shitters. I talked about in like
That
episode
makes
2.
him, like with his pubes and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to the podcast, you have been missing out. This kid was smoking a Black and Mild, and he dropped it into the outhouse in Iraq, which was filled with gas because our corpsman was lazy. Giant fireball came shooting up, set all his hair on from his ankles to his stomach on fire. And so he had his trousers around his ankles, and he comes duck waddling out. Everything on fire. Every individual pube was on fire like a stick of TNT. And we had been on deployment for 5 months at this point, so they were long. Burnt down our brand new shitters, which they had just dropped off Integrity like fucking 3 hours before that. And he was also the kid that I had to like force to shower in Iraq.
This guy sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a great machine gunner, but we
Well,
made
he
that,
was a machine gunner. Makes sense.
yeah, we made the difference between you could be a good warfighter and a bad human being.
Very much so.
There's a big difference.
It's usually hand in hand.
Yeah. Like the better warfighter you are, like
Yeah.
you know, like if you're just like an amazing warfighter, you know, you just get out and start a podcast.
That's true.
Yes.
Boo.
You're supposed to be on my side here.
That's right.
No, but so the guy comes out and he's like, "Hey, Boot, look at my knife." And the guy turns around and just out of instinct he goes to like smack it away, severs all the tendons in his hand, which is why he dropped the Black and Mild, because his dexterity wasn't there yet. And so just cuts to the bone. It doesn't even bleed for like 30 seconds, and then it's just like gush. And then AJ, remember we had him on the podcast.
Of course.
He was my next door neighbor and roommate with our corpsman, because we had a small like studio, like honestly not much bigger than this space right in front of us, like 2 bunk beds, a shitter, and you shared the shitter with the guys next to you.
Yeah.
Like I see what they have in the barracks now. It's like a luxury suite, like extended stay looking.
Oh, yeah.
With their individual bedrooms and like no, I had 2 twin size mattresses on bunk beds.
Yeah.
And so he runs in there and he's like, Doc, Russman's fucked up. Russman's fucked up. And he's like, all right, yeah, whatever, man. And he's like, I'll be there. And like 5 minutes goes by and he's like, where the fuck is Doc? Like he's bleeding profusely. Like, they pulled his PT shirt off, had it wrapped around his hand. Go back there, motherfucker's so racked out.
Yeah. I can
And
see
so
that, yeah.
AJ grabs him by the fucking heel, pulls him out of the fucking bed, grabs his med bag, and he's dragging him down the catwalk. Because AJ's like 6'3", you know?
He's a big guy, yeah.
He's a big guy. And so Doc's like, oh, fine. And, and he's just in his boxers. And he goes over there and he sees the big pool of blood that's like now leaking over the side of the catwalk. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, we told you.
Why are you so late? Yeah.
Yeah, but besides that, being a corpsman is mainly putting thermometers in people's buttholes.
Which is
and,
what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, doing IVs. So
For sure.
Yeah, I think either intel or corpsman. So kind of long-winded answer.
Right, yeah.
Hey, we got to take
always
up
a
time.
story. Yeah,
We
for
gotta
sure.
take up
Yeah,
time.
always. That's right.
Madam.
Well, I was going to ask about a funny deployment story. You already told one.
Ooh.
Another. Another's funny.
Madam, I have several.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
Is
so
there like a category you want, or?
Surprise us.
Oof.
I'm going to go with
Okay.
groin trauma.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have like
Everybody just groaned. Everyone's like,
I have like 5 stories just in that category if we're playing
Okay.
Jeopardy.
Sure.
And this is the daily double.
What is groin trauma?
So Iraq gets like 3 inches of rain a year, and we're getting like half of that in one night. And we're doing a night raid. We had gotten an intel report, bad guy in this location, go get him before he wakes up, Roger. And so we operated in 8-man patrols because like the way our city was set up, that if we went out with like a 13-man squad, it was like the game Snake, like when you kind of like fish through. So if the first fire team gets ambushed, it takes forever for the third fire team to be able to maneuver around and set up a base of fire. So we're out in these small teams. One fire team is going one way, the other's going the other. And in Iraq, they have these like elevated foundations, and so I'm walking on one of that, and the lightning's so bad that whenever strike of lightning goes off, it shorts out the NVGs because they have that failsafe in there. And so, I'm half blinded, I got rain in my eyes, and I slip, and I just go into a full split. And now I'm not a flexible man. And so, like, I'm talking about testicles to ground, and it just pull the fuck out of my groin. And so I start to roll off the side of that. And these foundations, they're elevated, maybe like 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
Some are like 8 feet, and they do that because the earth is so shitty, it's hard to like dig into to do formation. So
Right.
they just put the slab of concrete with the wood blocks and do it above ground. I'm on that, and I slip to the side, and I fall off the edge, and I go face first into this big mud pile, and just like black my eye with the NVG, and like I am fucking traumatized. Like, I just found out I was getting cheated on.
Right,
Like, I just
yeah.
fucking destroyed my groin. Got a black eye, like it's raining. I'm in Iraq,
Yeah.
like all my friends are like, banging girls in college.
Right.
And I'm getting fucking paid like 12 cents a day.
First week, am I right?
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm just like evaluating like the fucking decisions I did that brought me to this point in my life. Like I should have done better in math class,
Yeah,
like, if only I just walked into a different recruiter's office. And so my corpsman sees all of this, and he's fucking howling, laughing, like no noise discipline at this point. Like he's fucking howling, laughing, and I pull my face out of the mud puddle. I'm like, shut up, Doc, and like put my face back in. Just completely
Just leave me
defeated.
here, yeah.
That's literally what I said. He's like, come on, Sharp, like we gotta
Yeah.
go. And he grabs me by the troop leading strap, and he's like picking me up. I'm like, and I pull my face out of the mud puddle. I'm like, no, just leave me here to die. And I put my face back in. He was like, stop being a bitch. I was like, and that's like kryptonite to Marines.
Oh, yeah, of course,
If
yeah.
you're like, stop being a bitch, like get them to do whatever the fuck you want. And so I started doing that in a positive way. I'm like, pay your taxes on time. Stop being a bitch. I'll show you, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you need to say that? But all right. Fair enough.
Yeah, so with his help, I stood back up. We went and we converged on the target. We got the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a post when I got back.
Nice.
So I
Well,
had
of
fun.
course, yeah. As all good stories end with you on post, yeah.
Yep. Just like viciously masturbating.
Of course. What
like,
else are you going to do? Yeah, yeah.
They just looking through my night vision. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a
You
shapely
look
rock right
through-
there.
Yeah. That rock is thick as fuck.
That rock is curvy.
Yeah, yeah.
Hella thick, trying to smash them
That's
all
right. The
now.
enemy's looking at
Speed
you
up.
while masturbating. Yeah. Everybody's just masturbating.
Watching you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's basically. Oh yeah, and I think like the next night we did have the ISR, the infrared surveillance, and we saw this dude fucking a goat. Like,
Yeah.
That's not just like
That's
bullshit.
that's
like,
yeah. You always see it. Yeah.
yeah, like it's like legit.
Whether you want to see it or not, you're gonna see it.
And during the summer, like you'd see dudes like banging their wife on the rooftop.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is weird because like
They have a lot of wives.
yeah, you get
Yeah.
so like I mean just like by brief show of hands, like who here's wearing a thong? Am I the only one? Jesus. Like,
My God.
yeah.
They didn't get the dress code.
You have like, most American women, when you reach down there to take their panties off, which one of the most beautiful moments in the world is when they like lift their hips to help you.
I
Look,
wouldn't
he's
know.
blushing.
Yeah, wouldn't know. This is from anxiety. This is what I look like.
Yeah. And And so, like, we're, you know, like, because we're all perverts, we're watching, you know, this dude banging his wife on the rooftop. It's like 140 degrees. Like, we
Right.
got nothing going on in life.
Perfect time for banging your wife.
Yeah. Because they sleep on the rooftop because
Yep.
it's cooler than being in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, yeah, he's about to take her panties off. And this mother, it was like when a clown was like pulling like the handkerchiefs. Like, these are the biggest goddamn panties I've ever seen in my life. Like, I didn't know whether to fucking, you know, make a tent out of it or fucking
Right.
jump out of a plane. You know? Like, is that
Both
how,
practical uses, yeah.
is that how airborne works?
It's exactly how everyone works.
Geronimo.
That's right.
And so immediately after that, everybody was like, oh, it's fucking gross or whatever. It gets better. He pulls a second pair off. And I was like, how stank does your shit have to be that you got to wear 2 layers?
Yeah, that's gotta be that's a bad smell right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, in most countries overseas, like, you see the girls, and, like, you don't want to be a pervert or anything, but for, like, a 12-year-old girl, like, she's pretty, you know? Like, if it was, like, your little sister.
Right,
If
for
it was,
sure.
like, your little sister, but, like, she's a pretty young lady. Like, there's nothing perverted there. Objectively speaking, if you were a casting member, and they're like, hey, we need a role for a pretty young Muslim girl for this, whatever, you know? Like,
I would just hire you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
No, what I was about to say, then they get married at 13, and then by
Right.
15, they look like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You once were a pretty Muslim girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Life is hard for them. So, your deployment story.
Fuck.
On the
I
spot.
don't have anything about groin trauma.
Our guests are waiting.
Oh, yeah, got it. Yeah.
They traveled all the way out here.
My hand is shaking so much right now. I don't have one about groin trauma. I got one about people masturbating.
Yeah.
Which is just deployment in a nutshell. But it's not my story.
Yeah, if you didn't know this is how this podcast was going to
This is
go,
all
that's
it
because you
is,
didn't
yeah.
listen to it before you
Exactly,
showed
yeah.
up. That's on you.
So one of my old corpsman chiefs, he was in early days Fallujah, and he was talking about he was out with weapons company. They were doing their thing, and they finally come back to H&S company. And they had this fucking nerdy corpsman H&S, as you are one to do, put the nerdy ones with H&S. And
Is that why you were with H&S for so long?
I was an RP. I didn't have a choice.
No, and then he started working out and got tattoos. I saw his high school pictures. He looked
I
like
look-
the skater
I look
boy.
bad, yeah. I
He looked
look
like
bad.
the skater boy from Avril Lavigne's song.
That's right. That's what she was singing about. So they all came back and saw the H&S guy, and he had, like, this is early days Iraq, so he had a laptop with him, which is, like, unheard of. And they're like, oh, you nerd, we're going to war, you brought your fucking laptop, you fucking nerd. And he's like, well, I got porn. They're like, all right, we can hang out.
Yeah.
And so
Cool,
yeah, exactly. And so
cool.
now all these guys just coming back from different ops, they're all around this one little laptop in Iraq, and they're watching porn. They're like, wouldn't it be funny if we all just watch porn together? And they're like, yeah. And so they're watching, like, oh, it's crazy, she's totally getting dick down, or, you know, porn.
Yeah, slap happy.
And that's right.
Like,
and
that
then,
came up around that time. It was like...
yeah, that's right,
you know.
yeah. And so they're all watching it and just kind of laughing. He's like, and slowly, one by one, the laughter died down, and you just heard, like, through their woobies, just like, everybody in that room started masturbating together. Didn't say a word. Everybody finished, and then they just left.
Good game, gents.
Yeah, exactly.
Good game.
Yeah. He's like, last one there was the H&S doc, and he just closed his laptop, and they never spoke of it again.
No, it really do be like that
It does be like
sometimes.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell you, like, in my youth, how many times, like, I've rented a hotel with, like, another buddy.
Right.
And then, like, we just brought our dates back from, like, the ball.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just had sex in the same room.
Of course, yeah.
And then just never spoke of it.
That's right.
Just maintained strong eye contact.
Or spoke to them, yeah. Either way.
Okay, so that was a long-winded.
That was long, yeah.
Madam, what is your question?
Most awkward sexual encounter.
Today? Or the one that's happening right now?
Oh.
Oh, fuck. I feel like you have one.
Honestly, I don't know if it's ever been, like, an awkward one. I think there's been times where, like, we've been in public and we've gotten caught. And that's kind of awkward, but not for me because I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right,
You
yeah.
know? Like, high five.
You're just like flexing your back, yeah.
Yeah.
Changing to nastiest sexual encounter.
Why don't you
Nastiest.
calm the hell down? Let me think. Jesus,
Calm the hell
Leslie.
down and let me finish.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's not the first time you said that.
That's the name of my porno. Yeah. Calm the hell down and let me finish. The most the most awkward one. I think. Oh, so I do have an awkward one. It was in high school. So I was with a girl. Spoiler. And I know. Everybody, calm down.
A girl.
Let me finish.
Finger quotes.
And
Was she made of rubber?
she did not have a name. No.
Inflatable.
That's right. No, so I was like,
Well, parts of her work.
I was right. I was 14 or 15, so I was fairly young, and I I was with a girl in her room, which was in the basement of her parents' house, which showed that they didn't love her that much. So it was a perfect girl to hook up with. And so we're down there, and I'm not super experienced, and as I'm not to this day. And so things are happening. I'm humping a leg or whatever I'm doing, and so it got so kind of hot and heavy through the jeans that I like kind of went kablam in the jeans, as I am one to do as a teenager. But it wasn't so much that I had this big clamshell just on my pants, but it was the fact that her parents came down right when we started doing that, and or when I finished, and she didn't get to finish, and so they just kind of walk in. It was like an American Pie movie. Like they just flicked on the lights and they're like, "Oh hey, is this Mike?" And I'm just like, "Blammo!" And I was like, "Yeah, this is me. This is all of me." And so the dad kind of stared at me and the mom kind of stared at me, and I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay." Okay, and I was like, okay, and then they just walked out, and that was it. It was okay.
I remember one time I was with this girl, and we'd gone for a respectable amount of time.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is actually the global average if you Google it.
No, it's not.
Integrity. Go ahead.
But tell your story. I'm going to Google it.
And so afterwards, she's like, hey, can you go down on me and like help me finish? I'm like, yeah, easy day, right? And so afterwards, I'm like, wow, she's like super wet. And like I walked to the bathroom and I turn on the lights and I look like a wolf that had just
I
eaten
love
a
it.
fucking
I love
deer.
it so much. I love it. Oh, I love it.
And so let me tell you a little bit about my psyche. Like, I'm not the average human being. Like, I've killed people. And so instead of being like grossed out or whatever, I started like doing kind of like a one-legged hop, like back to the bed, and I started singing "What Makes the Red Man Red" from Peter Pan, to which she was absolutely fucking mortified.
Yeah.
And I'm just like fucking like war paint, you know. And I'm like doing like the Florida State, like
Yeah, right. Yeah.
you know,
You gotta
which I'm
embrace that shit.
6% Native American. All right, calm down.
Yeah, it's not racist.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's my heritage. All right, that you don't get to say that. We do.
Actually, I'm 25% Native American. It's fine. The average is 19 minutes.
9 minutes of penetration. 10 minutes of foreplay, 9 minutes of penetration.
God, I wish I could read. Yeah, 9 minutes of penetration. That's oddly accurate, but yeah.
Yeah, so if that gives you a visual, like I'm butt naked, still has the boner, so it's bouncing. I'm on 1 foot hopping, screaming, "What makes the red man red?" And she's just fucking mortified.
It's fantastic.
Needless to say, obviously she was not very happy about that, but
What?
we got married, so
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
she was
As
stuck
all
with
good
me.
stories end in marriage, yeah.
And divorce.
That's right. The best stories in the divorce.
All right, so that would be my nastiest encounter, sir.
So what went through your head the first time you guys came in contact with him?
That was like literally the last episode we
It
did.
was, yeah.
Yeah,
True
like,
fan over here.
Yeah, we specifically talked about our first times.
Yeah.
But to summarize, I think the first time that I ever, I'll change it, I'll tweak the question a little bit. The first time that I got shot at, I didn't have a chance to return fire. But the first time I returned fire, all I could think about was just fundamentals. Correct sight picture,
Right.
correct sight alignment, stock well, cheek well, trigger control, natural respiratory pause, slow steady squeeze, follow through. And all those things, just like a checkbook, just go through your head. And like the thing is that like I didn't even really take it personally, like I was just like, it's just business.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to kill me, I'm trying to kill him, and may the better man win.
Such is life, yeah. My first inkling, because I was in an MREP, Mike, and
Michael.
I decided to dismount, and when I returned fire, my first thing was I'm not in cover, I'm in the open. I did not want to get my dick shot off, and that's no joke. It's the first thing I thought of. I don't want to get shot in the dick, because like before you go overseas, they're always like, "This is what it looks like, get shot in the dick." I didn't want to look like that.
In the dick.
In the dick. And
Stare at it, boot.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like I've seen it. Like keep looking at it. Okay.
Print it out. Put it on a poster on
that's
your
right,
wall.
Yeah.
Out
Get
of
a
your own
tattoo.
money.
Yeah, that's an expensive tattoo. So yeah, I just
For those of you in attendance, actually, he did get a tattoo.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is what it looks like when you get shot in the dick.
it looks like an unfinished squid.
It looks
Oof.
like.
That's kind of gross. Okay, yeah.
That was accurate,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's super accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, it just got dark.
My
This whole thing has been a cry for help, people. Like, I've not been joking about any of
Somebody
this.
answer Dan. No, honestly, my biggest thing was just like it's kind of like this is real, this is happening, and like Dan said, you kind of just go back on your training. But my first firefight was over in like 30 seconds. It was super quick. So, and I could breathe really heavily. I don't know why. Like, for some reason, every time I got shot at or got blown up, like, I could breathe really well through my nose. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but that happened too.
Well, so I think it was Colonel Grossman said that flight or fight is not accurate, that humans have more responses. One could be to posture, one could be to submit.
Right.
I think there's a fifth one.
Is it breathing really well? Because that was mine.
Yeah, because like, like if you ever watch nature videos, because I'm huge into like the planet Earth stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
And like, and especially being out in 29 Palms, like whenever you see like a roadrunner, they don't look like the cartoons. And as soon as you like look at it, the first thing they do is shit themselves. Because they're purging unnecessary weight. So
the old Stedman.
If they have to escape, they they want to have like their functions,
right?
And yeah, so like the first thing they do is shit themselves. So whenever you get that first burst of adrenaline, the things that happen is your blood vessels expand, your senses clear up. Like it's almost like a natural antihistamine.
Oh, okay.
Like so, like you can hear better. You're more focused. Like you have more mental clarity.
That makes sense. This adds up.
I mean, I just made all of that out to
oh,
sound.
Fuck.
Did it sound good?
God damn it.
Did it sound good?
God, it sounded great.
No, but I think that's what it is that your body is preparing for the amount of oxygen that it's going to need. Much for the Midwestern parents that you fled from as a boy.
Good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Debbie and Ruth.
That's right. Debbie and Ruth, yeah.
Fantastic moms.
That's right.
Yeah, so your body is preparing to take on oxygen to feed the muscles to get you out of there. Yes.
Yeah, so it's doctor.
Yeah, it's doctor stuff. Quite.
Yeah.
Says the guy who doesn't even have a fucking high school diploma.
That's right.
Madam.
What is the highest rank you've hooked up with, and how old were they?
Oh, God damn it.
This is going to sound really bad, but I think it was E3.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think
God
E3
damn it, Dan.
is like the highest I've ever hooked up with.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
No, I take that back. There was one E5.
E4 Select. You piece of shit.
Yeah, I think we were both E5s, and I think she was like 25, which was about the age that I was at the time. I was like, old lady, like.
Yeah. You're gonna set me up for this? You piece of garbage. Do you want the enlisted or officer rank? Son of a bitch. Officer.
010.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The commandant. Softest hands.
Yeah, if you ever wonder why General Mattis never had any children,
that's right.
It's because he had honeypots like this walking around.
I think I was E3 hooked up with a staff sergeant, which is an E6. And then when I was in I was not an E3 anymore. There was a female major I hooked up with.
You say that a little louder for the microphone.
A female major? I think she's dead now. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know where she is.
A major in the Continental Army. She's retired, 18 tickety.
Yeah, I mean, she looked young, but she liked to drink, so that's what's up.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Madam.
Well, since someone stole my question, I think I should have asked that.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider going officer, either currently or have you been in?
No.
I did consider going officer, but then I got saddled with alimony.
Perfect, exactly, yeah. That'd be a reason to go
No,
officer.
I couldn't afford to not be active duty and to be in
Yeah.
college. Because I was an instructor at the basic school for
Right.
3 years. I taught combat tactics there. I was the primary military operations and urban terrain instructor. And so I was like, all right, well, like I've literally taught all the training that they've gone through for like 3 years. Like I got this. And then I got saddled with alimony. And so I was like, damn it.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah, once again,
Yeah.
my future's derailed.
Bamboozled, yeah.
Bamboozled. No, but I think that given the right circumstances, maybe. But like when I realized where I was when I enlisted, I didn't want to wait 4 years. And I know that's not everybody's path, but when I grew up, like I've been adopted like a few times. Like I was on the streets. Like I was in battered children's shelter. Like I didn't have shit going for me. Like the idea of me actually being able to make it into college was a fantasy. Like I just didn't have that opportunity. And if I didn't join the Marine Corps, I probably would have gone to jail for selling drugs or underground fighting, which I was actually pretty good at.
Yeah, were you?
Yeah.
What was your record?
9-0.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No integrity.
God damn it.
No, that was just the ones we did with like gloves. I think I did like 3-0 bare knuckle.
Okay. I went 1-1 in the old octagon, and I
but that
retired
was-
after that.
No, but that was actually like an actual bout, like in a
Right.
ring, you know, with an audience.
Right.
like-
Yeah. That was super embarrassing getting knocked out in front of a bunch of people.
Oh, man,
Wasn't
that
the best.
sucks.
Yeah.
No, but like, you know, I came from destitute and I built something out of myself, you know, and it's the American dream. Which,
Yeah.
looking back at it, given the opportunity, that would have been great because you could be in a position to influence more change. But at the time, it just wasn't in the cards for me.
Fair enough. No, I'd never go officer personally. Love being enlisted too much.
He loves banging them.
Love
doesn't wanna
banging
be
them.
one.
I'll bang them. I won't join them.
Tell me your favorite, either your most favorite or least favorite officer.
Most
Ooh.
favorite or least favorite officer?
Or like a story moment.
Major was my company commander, my first deployment. NJP'd the fuck out of me for some shit that wasn't my fault.
For not banging them.
Who said I didn't?
All right. Oh.
That's how I kept rank.
Okay.
But yeah, my battle buddy had done some shit and I covered for him. So because, you know, I wasn't going to rat him out, I got roped into it. Dereliction of a duty on Sentry. We got NJP'd in front of the whole company. Public NJP, which is super fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
You talk about a walk of shame, you know, like 3 people see you carrying your heels over your shoulders.
What I love about public MJP, it's like an episode of Maury because it's like he's like admitting to these things that maybe like the battalion hasn't heard yet, so everyone's just like, oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then 2 weeks later, we did this big op called Steel Curtain. It's actually got its own Wikipedia page. It was fucking massive. We were in triple digits, enemy casualties. I think it was like 120 some odd enemy killed, 250 captured, 10 Marines killed, 50 wounded, 0 captured. You know, no big deal. Pretty good.
No, but yeah, I've heard these stats before.
Yeah, pretty good kill
You
to
wake
death
me up with
ratio.
a text every day that says Operation Steel Curtain.
Yeah, and so I kicked a lot of ass during that mission, and the guy who got in trouble, he got shot. He didn't die, but he got shot, and so I kind of feel like that was his karma. Like, it literally came back and bit him in the ass.
Right. Yeah.
And then I got like super high rankings for like my proficiency in conduct, and then they made me a team leader as soon as we got back, and I got meritoriously promoted. And Major basically like, yeah, you were a shitbag that one day, but you're still like a good Marine. I didn't want to like lose you, you know.
Yeah.
And so he and I kind of like stayed in contact over the years. We've seen each other a few times, and he's just kind of been like a mentor. And I remember he's consummate professional. And speaking of which, can we please beep his name?
Yeah. He won't remember to do it.
Yeah, he's retired now, so it doesn't really matter. But I was telling him about the company commander that relieved him for the second deployment,
Right.
and I'm like, this guy was a fucking jackass, and like him being consummate professional, me being enlisted, you know, and he's like has to stick up for the other officer. It's like, well, I'm sure he tried his best. I'm like, we were getting mortared, and he tried to shoot the mortars out of the sky.
That's a tough shot.
These rounds are coming in at Mach Jesus. You know what I mean? Like,
That's a tough get.
some people can't even hit a stationary target at 200 yards.
It's hard.
Like, let alone calculate wind angle and trajectory and elevation, all that stuff. And like I said that, and it was just like ... typing, deleted,
It's so funny.
typing,
Right, yeah.
deleted.
Those 3 bubbles, yeah.
Yeah, and they came back, oh my. And I was like, that is the most officer shit to say. Like,
That's so funny.
yeah, it's quite like
That's funny.
this pipe. Oh my. George the guy. Yeah, so he was a good mentor to me, and kind of like the dude that you looked up to. He was always the first one to wake up, the first one to go out and do something when he was asking. If we had to break down Constantina wire, he was out there getting his hands bloody with us.
Fuck yeah.
If we had to do something, he was out there. If we were on mission, like, you know, he would do his best. He wasn't one of those officers that sat behind, you know, the sandbags and just let everybody else risk it. He was out there in the shit, you know. And so he's the kind of leader that you aspire to be like. And because in some capacity, everyone's a leader in the military.
For sure.
You know, whether it be just the peers or you get put in a leadership billet. So I got put in a leadership billet at 21. I joined at like 18.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got to the fleet, I was 19.
Right.
So I'd only been in for 2 years when I got put in a leadership billet, and I stayed in one for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have a mentor like that to you know, kind of guide your leadership style, I feel like the men under my charge were better for it.
I don't have a name off the top of my head, but yeah, I know. I didn't want to say you, but we all know it. No, I like a certain type of officer, not the ones I bang, but like the. I mean, I like those, but no, it's the ones who.
Wait, just for a legal purpose, allegedly bang.
I'm pretty sure she's out or dead. I really don't know where she is. Hit me up. She's
listening.
yeah, she's a big fan.
listening.
Big fan. Yeah. No, it's kind of the ones who don't say like I'm here for you. Don't verbalize that kind of stuff. That just do it. That always stick out to me. I mean, I've dozens and dozens of officers just been absolutely rock stars, and dozens more who just weren't. But yeah, it's the ones who just use their actions more than their words to show what their troops mean to them. Raw indeed.
Last question.
Okay, so my question is, who thought of like creating the whole podcast thing? And you probably like already said it in your first one, but like
You didn't listen to the first one?
You haven't dedicated 23 hours of your life to listen.
All right.
No, actually, that's a great question, and
Yeah, it is. We never even asked that.
Yeah, so to repeat for those who are listening, who came up with the idea, I'd always known that I'd wanted to do a podcast, but I didn't really have the team to support me at the time. So I put out a call to action on Facebook to create a group because I wanted to do video skits because I thought that was the way to move forward. And that's how I met EP Mike, and we started doing video sketches, and then met co-host Mike, and he came on. We did one super cringy, like, 4th of July skit, which we all thought it was great, and our friends loved it, but, like, everybody else was like, what the actual fuck?
Why is this on my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Sponsored.
Yeah, that's
Like,
right.
Can't hide from it.
Look at it.
And so, you know, we got to talking about it, and I kind of verbalized the idea of wanting to do a podcast, and Mike over here was just like, well, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
And so he was just like, oh, hey, I bought the microphones. And I was like, oh, shit. Like,
I'm bored a lot.
And he has a surplus of money.
Yeah,
so,
I just have all this money.
Yeah. And, yeah, because he doesn't buy condoms, so it just...
Right, well, yeah. Oh, the $7. I don't know how much condoms are. I don't use them, but...
But actually, that's how much the microphones cost, $7.
Fair enough. That adds up.
Yeah, and so he bought the microphones. I bought the sound paneling. We built the studio. Then eventually we upgraded the microphones and our audio equipment and recording software.
But not the content.
No, the
content stays bottom tier.
Yeah, it's just funny because we've been on a couple other podcasts. We've been on A Veteran Mind with Garrett Jones. He's a best-selling author. We went all the way out to Texas to be on the Grunt Style, which is a $100 million company. Their podcast. Drinking Bros is like one of the top 20 podcasts in the world. The Sierra Hotel Echo podcast, we were on that last week. Yep. And we just hit about 100,000 downloads, which is fucking crazy to think, you know.
So fucking bizarre. Yeah. No, stop, God. Ugh. Stop it. Right, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was, there was always the drive and the passion there, but if you don't surround yourself with people who are going to inspire you to reach your goals, then it's really hard to do it by yourself.
True that.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you're in the D.C. area, April 18th, please come see me at Burbiz. I'm doing a social media panel. I'm doing a podcast with Medal of Honor recipient Clinton Romshaw, Jack Mandeville, Forrest Munden from the Salty Soldier, ton of influencers, Donovan O'Malley. We have like 2,000 people signed up already, which is
it should be
wild.
fun. Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, you'll be on a business trip.
I will be on a fucking business trip. Yeah,
you'll be there in spirit. So we want to thank our friends and
thanks for coming out. Yeah,
they came out to support us, and this was kind of a dry run for us, so that way we could be better prepared.
That's right.
For future events, because we're gonna do one at the bunker, and I promise it'll be better content.
I don't, but I do not.
No, I think we came in strong with a few jokes.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
We did well.
We're pretty fucking funny, so.
So for for the M&Ms and myself,
nice.
I think this is the end of season 1, isn't it?
Is this going to be the season finale?
I think so.
Oh,
because you're not going to be around next week.
Mm-mm.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, yay! Thanks, guys.